No, we're not gonna talk about my S14. It's just to get your attention. We're talking about the van. Now, the engine is in place, solid. Engine mounts just tucked together, so it's in place. And obviously I have to remove the engine away from the chassis with the gearbox and then do them properly, because it's just, just temporary. So I have obviously the position of the engine mounts, what they have to do, and then build them proper. But what I want to talk today about is the choice of the gearbox. Initially, the plan was to just change the engine and keep my BMW 6-speed, which is that one. 6-speed gearbox mated remotely by a small prop shaft to my Jeep transfer case. This is the M57N, this is the one that was in a few days ago. And then I said, okay, once we do that, lots of piles of stock, let's upgrade the transfer case as well. Not that I need it, but once we're there, I bought a Nissan Patrol transfer case. And then meantime, sit down with my wife and we actually decided to go automatic transmission from the Merc, original one, from the E300. The one is obviously mated to the engine originally. I know what you're gonna say was the fucking point, because you're gonna remove all the electronics, all of this, yeah, gone. All of that stuff, everything, all the sensors, all of this, ECU somewhere there, I don't know where I put the ECU, already lost it. It doesn't matter. ECU, EWS, everything gone, all the electronics is gone. You're gonna use the 606, you're gonna spend much more money on the fuel because it's fully mechanical, just to lose all the electronics and be reliable, and then you're gonna rely on electronics to control your gearbox. It's missing the point. That is true. However, pros and cons. This car is expedition car, but we're gonna travel a lot on the motorways. We're gonna do a lot of town, obviously, stuff, and I don't know, maybe we're getting lazy, maybe we're getting old. I just wanted some comfort. Plus, my wife, she said, yeah, she would prefer the automatic as well. The downside of running it electronically, it is not actually as big, because we removed 90% of electronics. If I leave tiny bit of electronics to control the gearbox, come on, it's very small amount of something that could go wrong. And we're gonna use a standalone ECU specifically designed to control that gearbox. It is expensive, but it's supposed to do the job. Some people have reported to have minor issues with them. Hope you're not gonna have them, but I don't want to speak too soon. I'm gonna install it, test it for some time, and then I'm gonna report it to you if it's as reliable as people think or people say, or it's not. It's fairly expensive, so I'm expecting it to be very good. You can have a paddle shift, you can have a sequential shifter, you can have a full automatic mode, you can program them completely, and it's great. So I bought that transfer case, and I say we're gonna make, as I am now, the Patrol transfer case by a small prop shaft to Merc E300 TD automatic transmission. But you see, the plans always change, so you have to keep the direction, but don't plan too much of the solid, because it may change, as it changed in this case. My transmission tuner that I've built for this engine with my four-wheel drive system, it is way too small to accommodate this gearbox, which is slightly longer, my small prop shaft, and a bigger transfer case. So, in order to fit that, I will have to rebuild the tuner for the transmission. And that is a pain-ass job, because I already have my floor fully insulated, like a proper insulation. And I will have to rebuild everything of that. You have to remove all the stuff around and the carpet and everything. I don't want to do it because it's like at least 3-4 days job. I don't want to do it. So what I did, I said, okay, once we go and make automatic transmission, let's find the one that is fitted somewhere that already has a transfer case with a high and low, so a proper Jeep transfer case, because I want to keep my transfer case, which is from the Jeep Cherokee XJ. So I bought one of these. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Merc transmission mated originally to the Jeep transfer case. And these, you can find them in the Jeep Grand Cherokee YJ 2.7 CRD, which is a Merc engine, CDI. And the beauty of this is that these transfer cases, this particular transfer case is a wank because it's got a viscous coupler inside, so it's not really four-wheel drive. It's fucking, you know, a proper four-wheel drive is when you don't have a diff inside or you have a diff where you can lock it. Viscous coupler is a wank. Fuck it, we don't want it. So we can, but the beauty is you can swap nearly all the models from the Jeep transfer cases to the same gearbox. They're all interchangeable. So I'm gonna remove this one. I'm gonna put mine, which is already in the van, and however, mine is flipped upside down. So as you can see, the prop shaft now, the front prop shaft output is on the driver's side. I'm gonna need it on this side, so I'm gonna flip. Well, I already flipped my transfer case. You can do it, no problems. You have to modify them inside a little bit. There is a oil pump. Here you can flip it all around. There is a pickup that you're gonna need in this position because if not, obviously it's gonna be up and you're gonna run into oil starvation problems, which with the obvious effects. So in this case, we're gonna have om606 with original parts, original bolted, no modifications, no adapter plates, nothing, to the automatic Merc transmission, originally mated with the Jeep transfer case, which I already have in my van, tested, working, all the stuff. Now, some people saying those transfer cases are not strong enough. That's bollocks. They actually are surprisingly strong. They're not as strong as a Nissan Patrol transfer case, obviously. Now, the fact that they are chain-driven transfer cases doesn't mean anything. This one is a train-driven transfer case as well. It is stronger, that's true, but the Jeep one is not bad as well. The only weak spot of them is the wool. It's the wool of the casing, of the case. It's very thin, so you have to be careful not to hit anything with them, because if you hit something, straight away a hole in a transfer case, you lose all the oil with obvious consequences. So, but to be honest, I had my Jeep XJ231, the code for the transfer case, the model NP231, which doesn't have any differential inside. It's rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive permanent. M57N, nearly 300 brakes. I don't know, anything between 600 and 700 newtons of torque. I don't know how much they produce on the remap, but quite a lot. The van is not light, on 35-inch tires. Behind it, on a solid tow bar, on the A-bar, I was towing my Mrs. Jimny, fully loaded with spares and all that stuff, you know, ready for camping as well. So we were pulling over, I think it was calculated, I think it was way over 4.5 tons. And was going really steep hills, like second gear, third gear. Some point there was like really steep, like turning around, like a U-turn. And it was funny because I was going around and the Jimny was cutting on the grass, like honestly, that. And I was putting the whole torque like flat out, like the full power, and the whole transmission had not a single problem, especially the small tiny transfer case, which everyone thinks is small and weak. It's not. It's small, but it's a good bastard of the transfer case. They're fairly strong. I used to use them for years, and I will keep using them. For the light medium use, they're spot on. Heavy duty use, obviously not, you need something stronger. But the van is not heavy duty use, so I'm more than happy to use that transfer case. So this is my transmission setup. You may not agree on using electronics to control it, I know. However, it's gonna be cool, you know, have a fully automatic or paddle shift, or maybe I'm gonna put the shift on the traffic. Some of them have the traffic, you know, there's behind the steering wheel, there's a positive and negative, plus and minus, to change the radio. And I may put my gearbox shifter just there, up and down. I don't know. I just wanted something cool as well, you know, have a full mechanical. Plus, I believe these engines, they work better with the automatic transmission because they like to rev higher than the M57N. M57N, 1500 RPMs, you go full boost, you go full torque, and it is much easier to pull off with the manual transmission. om606, unfortunately, it doesn't have that torque, low down as much as M57. So when you pull off, you got quite a lot of lag. And I'm not saying it's a massive downside, but I'm just saying that that engine in particular will work better with the automatic transmission than with the manual transmission, which is completely opposite than the 57N. So that's it really. I have to go. I can't stay any longer today. I can't work on the van during this weekend, so I will see you next week. I will update you once that gearbox is mated to that engine on the floor. I'm gonna do my engine mounts proper, my gearbox mounts, my prop shafts, and then all you have to wait is for my fuel pump to arrive, my exhaust manifold to arrive from the 605, because I have to make some hybrid stuff I'm gonna show later on. Then I have to wait for my TCU to control that gearbox. So everything is pretty much on the way. The engine already has the rear sump. I don't know if you've seen it. If not, there she is. No, you can't see it too much. However, yeah, it's a rear sump, and with that sump fits perfectly. There's a space for the I'll show you before. I think there's plenty of space for the alternator, plenty of space for the air compressor and everything. Obviously now one of the biggest problems we have to sort out is the radiator, because the radiator I had for the M57N is definitely not big enough for this engine. But I don't have much room, because you see between my chassis legs, obviously I got the steering box, this I don't know, this is yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna sort this out. I will, I just don't know how yet. Right, I will speak to you next week with more updates. No, maybe this one. This one is nicer because she's already on. There's no radiator here because it's on the back, not connected yet. As you can see, there's nothing here. But yeah, this is much easier.